Welcome to Toffee Blue View, your source for all things Everton. I'm Gerry. I continue to be Gerry. I can't change it. Just might as well embrace it. Max and Edward. Edward is rejoining us after his long sabbatical. He has rejoined us, renewed, refreshed, and holding the sexiest man alive in program form. And it's not just it's the fact that he plays sexy too. You know, it's just Good gosh, poor Gomez, swamped by Evertonian fans all the time.
Swooning.
The hormones absolutely suffocating him.
Last night the fella next to me at the game, because there's plenty, even during the derby, there's plenty of moments when he gets the ball and you think, oh, what a footballer. I think one of those moments happened last night, and the two lads next to me, they made me laugh throughout the game. I can't remember the last time I sat next to them, but they were coming out with, every time a good ball would be floated into the post, they'd be like, that's a goal, and it just weren't at all. But when I think Gomez took the ball past this man, and he just went, he stood up and just started clapping him, and he went, that man could play with a cigar. Probably could as well.
On with the match reaction. Guys, I'll flat out, I'm just going to start this off. That felt like a loss.
Yeah.
That felt like we dropped, more than 2 points. It felt like we dropped 3. That was bad, especially since Arsenal and United drew. We could have gained a couple more points on Arsenal. It's just a good...
Everton luck, innit?
Hey, I don't believe in that. I've stopped saying that. No more of that. I'm not perpetuating this mentality anymore. I'm not doing it. But Max, you were there, just like old Eduardo. You were there. Can you tell me a little bit about the vibe inside Goodison for this one?
It was like we were expecting the 3 points. You know what I mean? Obviously, the news went through that the changes were made, bringing in Lookman, bringing in Tosin. And even still, we thought that team's good enough to brush 15th place Newcastle aside. As you know, though, Gerry, I wasn't particularly keen on going the game anyway. After the derby, I just felt like, can't really be arsed. But I thought, it's something to do. I can go. So I went straight from Manchester to Lime Street to Kirkdale, and then walked to Goodison. And it was a much bigger crowd than what I expected. And obviously it must be, you've got to make note of that they were all behind Jordan Pickford, and they made that abundantly clear from the off. As soon as his name was read out, he received a rupture of applause, and throughout I know the Geordies were giving him loads and wouldn't shut up for the whole game.
I heard boos every time it went back to him.
Yeah, but we were firmly behind him, and we probably would have got beat if it weren't for him and some of the saves that he pulled off in that game. So, but the atmosphere was a bit pissed off, to be honest, and rightfully so.
Yeah. Edward, you feel about the same vibe there?
It was one of those, it was expecting it, and so obviously high expectations lead to big disappointments, and unfortunately it was the first ever time I've missed kickoff in an Everton match, so I'm never doing that again.
So it's your fault.
I do apologise. But no, I think obviously, like I say, it was massive expectations for the fact that we should be winning the game, and obviously it's like all this attitude of it's only Newcastle. So obviously when they go ahead, then you're obviously feeling that sickening mood of, oh god, this is going to be another Huddersfield, and turns out it was in the end, unfortunately. And
that's what it felt like.
Yeah,
it's how it looked on the pitch as well. We were talking off camera, and there seems to be this obsessive need to fire crosses into the box against really tall centre halves that are going to have the beating of Richarlison and Tosin every time. It is really quite frustrating, and I don't mean to sound dramatic when I say this. I'm just getting it out my system, but it did feel a bit like Martinez, where we're kind of chasing that last minute goal, and it wound me up because I genuinely
second half really felt like that.
Yeah, I genuinely thought, this team we've got on the pitch has the quality to unlock Newcastle. We created the chances. We had so much of the ball, so many crosses fired in, and it just didn't work. And there were a few poor performances as well, which I'm sure we'll touch on. Just poor, wasn't it?
Do you know, I will just touch on, actually. I reckon when we play them at St James's Park, I reckon we'll win, which is kind of the sad thing, because we always seem to perform better away than we do at home, in my opinion. It's weird, don't you?
Well, it's Rafa Benitez, isn't it? I think the last 19 times we played the Rafa Benitez side, he's won 10. He's one of those characters when he comes to Goodison. No one likes him, and I just think he knows how to play us. It's one of those things.
So I want to hold off because I feel like we're leading to a conversation. I want to push it to the side for a second. Okay. The whole unlocking the bus conversation. Okay. Push that to the side for a second. All right. I want to make sure we give ample discussion to their goal.
Oh.
All right.
Yeah.
Because that is probably what disgusted me the most, the more I think about it. Just because I think I've seen people blaming just Luka Dean. I've seen people blaming just Coleman. And it took a village to give up that goal. All right? Because Coleman allowed the cross. He did. When you watch the replay, Gerry Mina takes a swipe at the ball, and he does not connect with it. Now, granted, not the best weather conditions yesterday. Whatever. All right? Still completely whiffed. All right? If he just almost stands still and puts his foot down, then he blocks that ball and stops it. All right? But instead he tried to kind of rear back and he just totally whiffed. But then behind him, the one who has the best view of it all and who actually could have drifted over and marked up Solomon Rondon, all right? Luka Dean is right there. All right? Could have done better. All right? That's a team effort to screw that up. That's several things that had to go wrong to make that happen. That just one person does that job right, that's no goal.
Yeah.
It stemmed from that incident with Ademola Lookman just around the centre of the pitch, which
almost as though we were expecting that to get called, and that threw a decent amount of us off.
Yeah, it certainly threw the crowd, and because it was a very quick counter attack as soon as that ball was pinged down. Because the defenders looked like they were chasing as soon as the ball was played, didn't they? But Lee Mason, I'm sure he'll get ample discussion elsewhere. I don't want to give him the time, but
he is. A lot of people are calling him out.
I'll be honest. I can't I've seen a lot of poor games at Goodison in my lifetime that'll fade into the corridors of my memory, and I think that'll be one of them. So I'm not, I haven't rewatched it by any stretch, but I don't think that's a foul on Lookman. I just think it's a piece of physical play, and I'm one of those that advocates, you've got to have a bit of physicality in there somewhere.
What's the Premier League?
Yeah.
There's not a league more physical than this.
And the frustrating thing is that, that kind of coming together with Lookman and whoever it was, you do see them given by some refs in the middle of the pitch. You know what I mean?
It's inconsistently.
Yeah, and this is
that is a big thing.
It's where it comes full circle. We've been hit by this refereeing inconsistency again. I don't want to bang on about it, but still a poor goal to concede because we were wide open and chasing as soon as the ball was played through.
I would like to just comment though. I actually think it was from a Newcastle perspective as well, it was actually a pretty decent goal in terms of the cross from Murphy was very good, I have to admit, and the finish by Rondon was actually pretty decent as well, because you think about it, he's at that bit of an awkward angle to try and have it, and then he hits it against the far post of the top of the net.
Oh, it was a good finish.
No, it was...
Yeah, I mean, I will agree with that. Their guys did their jobs. Had our guys done their job, that's no goal. But they did what they were supposed to on that play. They really did. It kind of stunned me. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
The way we had been kind of pressuring, I didn't see that coming.
The frustrating thing is with One thing I've always throughout my lifetime commonly associated with Everton is sometimes we are that team that needs to concede to wake us up. However, I don't think that was the case. Because we were the dominant from the off, and we were pressuring and pressuring. The moment that goal went in, that was Rafa's game plan executed right there. It's all hands on deck now, boys, and make sure you don't let anyone go on the other end of the pitch. Well done for Richarlison for getting that goal out on the left. I can't remember them off the top of my head now, but I've seen some stats, and just on that game alone, out on the left, he's so much better than what he is down the middle.
Oh, yeah, I noticed that too.
So that's something we're obviously going to have to give consideration going forward. But thankfully he got that equaliser, and to our despair, we didn't get that winner, but it was frustrating. But I'm sure because we don't seem bad, do we? It's not going to throw us.
I still. Yesterday was frustrating, but that first half should have gone better for us. Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
It should have.
The Tosin chance summed it all up for me. I mean, it was a fantastic save by Nebraska, but your centre forward should be putting that away.
If you rewatch the play, I don't even. I like that keeper. I think he's a strong keeper, but Tosin puts it literally right into Dubravka's waist.
I know.
You know what I mean? And so he literally, what Dubravka had to do is like tilt. You know what I mean? And that's his save. And Tosin almost would have been better off not to make good contact with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that may have thrown him off. But literally, that small part of the goal was the one part he couldn't hit it in. And Tosin put it right there. That was frustrating because I love Tosin. But that one in the Gylfi chance, we just cannot keep doing that shit.
Yeah, I think actually I will be. I don't like to say it, but I mean, if Tosin can't be scoring against the likes of these teams like Newcastle and that, and we don't give Dom a fair chance at least, then maybe we should be looking at another striker. I don't like to admit it, but maybe it is. We should be looking at the striker.
I think regardless, we're looking for a striker anyway, because Nias is probably peacing out. I'm sorry to make you cry, Edward, but honestly, because I still maintain Tosin has a role in the team. If he's cool with not starting every game and coming in like every other game every once in a while just to kind of try to grab us a late goal or shore things up, I'm great with him being, second or third choice. That's a good player to have in that position, right? I don't know completely how much he matches Silva's style though.
I thought Calvert-Lewin was going to come on earlier, to be honest with you, because I thought he would have done a better job than what Tosin would have, particularly dealing with them crosses. I don't think the changes were any good. I've got to be honest and say it. I don't think the changes were any good. I thought Bernard looked pretty ineffective in the middle. Didn't really get on the ball and work his magic.
Nothing worked.
No.
This is one of those moments where I don't know. The idea of Lookman when he comes off the bench, that's the benefit I see. You know what I mean? That's my. But whatever.
I just don't.
We totally dominated that game.
Yeah, I mean.
And Edward, you were talking about the stats.
Yeah.
Earlier before it was really lopsided.
Yeah, I was going to say I saw a decent little, well, not a decent little. The stat was something like that was our highest amount of possession we've had since 2003-2004 season, with 76% of the possession. And I saw a brilliant tweet earlier today, which was it may as well it could have just been a game on FIFA where it was like Big Brother versus Little Brother. The amount of domination we had in that game was ridiculous in terms of like shots as well. And the worst thing was 20 shots, 3 on target.
3 on target. Yeah, I saw that. Credit to them. Their shots, they made the most of them. They at least put them on target. Atsu actually played better than I've seen him play.
I was expecting him to get the winner.
I mean, Pickford made a nice save on Atsu's late chance. Atsu played well. He was clipping he was showing a lot of studs to ankles, and that happened repeated. I was surprised he didn't get an early yellow card. That happened often, but that was their strategy.
Yeah.
And this brings me around to it. Okay, guys? This is the new way to play against Everton. All right? Now that we are potent offensively, teams bunker back, park the bus, and hack repeatedly. Newcastle game went exactly the way the Cardiff game did, except we gave that goal lead was Rafa's golden ticket.
Yeah.
He knew, okay, we've got a lead. Let's just hang back and we can just coast through this. All right, and that's exactly. But that's the way teams are playing us now. Overly
Stagnate.
physical, overly defensive, and they're just sort of. It's very much the way we played sometimes last year. You know, and I can't really completely blame them because they're doing what they need to for points. It works often.
True.
You know, but it's frustrating. So this leads me to, we had a discussion recommended by a viewer / listener. I think he normally watches the videos, named Peter James Needham. He tweets often, but he asked, he said, "Hey Jerry, in the next pod, please fully address the fact that we really don't work in the final third, and we haven't done for weeks. Ask what we can do with current players or who we need to bring in January." Because he's clearly frustrated, as we are. All right? He says, until we sort it out, it's a nonsense. Everyone going, yeah, we'll easily beat XYZ. No chances or goals means no easy wins against anyone. And then I saw this one as well. He said, and for God's sake, can Bernard stop slipping at key moments? Because the guy needs a new pair of studs. He really does.
Yeah.
I've seen, last game, this game, he looks like he's on ice. Normally he's the one that makes other people look like they're on ice, but yeah. So, guys, I guess the question is, what's going wrong in the final third? And a big part of it is teams packing the bus, cutting down passing lanes, parking the bus, cutting down passing lanes, and not giving us any space. So I guess the real question is, how do we unlock the bus?
By buying a proven goal scorer. I think that the biggest.
I think that's part of it.
Yeah, well, I think my mind just automatically, you go through all the time with these attacking plays that we make, and they are particularly cross into the net. All the players that we have up front are typically selfless. I'd say you got Sigurdsson, the playmaker, Bernard, playmaker, and then that's where you can maybe draw the line. Richarlison, he plays a nice few. Pass and move balls. Walcott, we know he's not having the greatest in the greatest form of his life, and he's usually that one that plays the ball across to get tapped into the net. Huge difference. You go a few years back, is we had Romelu Lukaku, and you knew that he was the man that was going to pull the trigger when the ball came to him. You don't quite know who's going to pull the trigger. I feel now.
Which to a certain extent is good and refreshing because we're spreading the goals out.
But it's
right?
It's not good when you've got 20 shots and 3 of them on target. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's in a way the style of football now seems to be that we pass the ball into the net. Obviously the Sigurdsson goal being an exception. A lot of the goals this season have come from little passing play, and then just a little bit of a tap in. I think it's like you say, you just need someone that's going to think, nah, I'm not going to pass it, I'm going to shoot, and then just knock it in. But ironically, in terms of like striker wise, I mean, obviously I saw the last video that you guys did. In terms of like the strikers, I'd have gone in for Rondon in the summer.
No.
Here's the thing, Rondon is, I feel like, if you're wanting to be top 6, he's a backup striker. Okay, I don't think he's a starter for a top 4, top 6, I wouldn't even say top 8 team. But I respect Rondon more than most, Edward. Okay? I think he's better. I think a lot of people slag him off, and I think he's a better player than a lot of people give him credit for. He actually seems like a nice guy, by the way. The whole situation with him and McCarthy last season, he's seemed like a genuinely a good person.
Yeah.
Which, that's something I always appreciate on a team. But I don't think he would be a starter, and I think right now what we're looking for is someone who could feasibly start some games and give us a different look. You know what I mean? Right now, the word on everybody's lips is Gabagol. All right. We talked about it last week some. We decided that we didn't think the move really was going to make sense because he seemed more like a second striker rather than an out and out.
It doesn't. Well, I mean, I know he's scoring a lot of goals for Santos, but it doesn't seem like he'd hit the ground running, does it? It looked like there'd be a kind of, an adaptation period to the Premier League, particularly with the South American forwards, and I don't think we can bank on that at the minute.
Well, here's the thing. If we brought in Gabigol, I wouldn't see him immediately as a starter. I would almost see him as a situation where we change formation late in the game. So we take out, how we took out Sigurdsson yesterday? Late?
Yeah, we wrote, and even then that two up front didn't look functional. It looked so awkward when we wrote.
It was a bizarre, but I think if you've got Gabigol up front with, say, Richarlison, and then whoever on the wings, I think you actually have a pretty good little Gabigol and Richarlison combining,
awesome.
and that way I wouldn't expect him to right off the bat be playing 70 minutes at a time. I don't even know if he's that guy, We also recently, there's a Twitter account, I think Everton Insider, that basically said that we are potentially in for Joseph Martinez or Jose Martinez from Atlanta.
Go for it.
I'd be happy.
I think he just got MVP of the season. I think
87 goals, something like that. I mean, I know it's only MLS, but he's been someone that's caught my eye. I quite like the look.
He's the Venezuelan I would get, Edward. He's the one I would get. No, hey, no, I'm not talking jive, man, but at all. But he reminds me of He reminds me of Aguero. In terms of the way he's built.
Gerry, right, that's what we need. We need this Sergio Aguero ilk of player who's, just like a dog up front that doesn't stop and that has that physical side to him and the ability to shrug players off and slot one into the net.
To be fair, wasn't that toast in the last season?
No, it wasn't.
Ish.
No.
Every once in a while.
I mean, he could shrug off the defenders in that, but...
No.
I mean,
this guy. The thing about this guy is he's much, much quicker than any striker we have.
Yeah, I'd be going.
He is slippery. He's smart. He's opportunistic. I've seen him score a lot of goals. I've watched a decent amount of MLS this season, specifically watching him because we were connected to him like last season or in the summer or something. We were actually connected to him before. I think if we buy him, it would be this January because their season's going to be over.
Yeah.
They're actually hosting the MLS Cup this Saturday. If you want a chance to watch Josef Martinez, you watch this Saturday. It's 8 p.m. Eastern time in America, so that's going to put 5 hours before that for y'all. Maybe a bit late for y'all. I don't know. But regardless, I'm going to be checking him out because I'm curious.
Yeah.
As you say, MLS not really the proving ground for Premier League. You would hope they have kind of someone else in between, a stay somewhere else in between. But I still think he gives us a different look, speed, quickness, and you need players like that. I think Gabigol would have helped us unlock that defense yesterday. It's these and something else that I haven't mentioned. We need a backup for Sigurdsson. All right, we don't have right now. It's Kieran Dowell, sort of, and it's sort of Tom Davies, maybe, but we don't have that attacking center attack.
Ridiculous. And
so, I mean,
we're like the other summer, and we just
when we brought them all in,
loads, and now
we didn't bring any of them in though that could help us unlock the bus.
No,
and that's the thing because Sigurdsson, although he's clever, smart, he's not super quick. We need that center attacking mid who's going to, with quickness, almost like a Bernard, except somebody who doesn't feel more at home on the wing. All right? And this, I'd be curious to, this was it Hans Wolf from Austria who plays for Red Bull Salzburg we just got linked with yesterday. That's a good young player who's going to be okay coming off the bench maybe.
Yeah.
But that's I still don't even know if he's the same quick type. I don't want to say a David Silva type, but a David Silva type.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Somebody with that quick who can create those quick little passes. I feel like we let Bernard drift into the center with the intent of that happening some yesterday.
Yeah.
See, the only thing I have with us buying players and that, is the fact that I feel like it could be just another Tosin situation. You know, he'll have a good 6 months or so in the second half of the season, and then it won't happen again. But then he'll need a month or so to, you know, get himself adjusted to the Premier League, which is why I think if we go for anyone, we need to get someone from the Premier League. But if not, then we'll have to stick with what we've got, unfortunately, and then just try and work around. Because, you know, what's the point in spending a load of money on it if it's not, you know, we could be putting all our eggs in one basket instead of trying to work with what we've got, in a way.
That is usually the quickest turnaround you're going to find is a Premier League proven player. That's very true. That's a lot of times that's instant. They know the league. There is a benefit to doing that, but you usually are overpaying.
Yeah.
And there is the idea that some teams don't want to sell to their competition. I see people saying that they want Callum Wilson from Bournemouth. I know he's a good little player, but if you're grappling with another team for position in the table, are you going to sell directly to them?
Nah.
Like if I was Eddie Howe, I'd be like, I will leave if you do this. You know what I mean? I'd be pissed if they even thought about it. And we would overpay there, big time. So, yeah. So basically, let's talk really quick. Unlocking the bus against a team like that yesterday, just to kind of directly address Pete's question here. We kept on trying to force things wide and cross in. We started off the show talking about this. Max, you mentioned that in the intro for the pod. I'm not sure if it was in this video, but or in this segment, but we felt like we were just slamming our heads into the same space. That's why it felt like Martinez, because it was doing the same thing over and over again. Typically in a scenario like that, you want to adjust your thinking and attack a different area. You know, attack using a different area. Maybe it's putting somebody on the ball who's got some decent close control. Maybe it's through short combinations. Maybe it's through a different type of movement, running in behind. It's like you have to change it up. And I think we don't have the personnel right now to change it up enough. So we need to win those types of park the bus games, 1-0, 2-0, 2-1, and we're going to have to finish the chances we have.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I think that's just where we're at right now.
Maybe that's sort of the next step, in a way.
I agree. I totally agree. And it's going to be in its depth as well. It's just team depth and flexibility. Squad depth and flexibility, really. So, I don't know, guys. Pete, I hope we've answered your question thoroughly enough. I think it's great conversation, though. I mean, really, there's a lot of, and really, we've only really discussed players that have been linked to us recently, except for Solomon Rondon, because we haven't been linked with him for a year, I think. But that's really, yeah. So I'm curious to see who we bring in January. I wouldn't mind us bringing in another winger. I
got a sneaky suspicion Danny Welbeck could be on his way.
No thanks.
I don't know why. Danny Welbeck. I don't know why. I've just
People
got a sneaky.
People have mentioned him before.
I've got a sneaky suspicion because he's out of contract soon.
He's not really the clinical finisher that we need.
No, but he'd be an Everton signing.
In the past, he would be an Everton signing.
Like I say.
I'm curious about how Marcel feels about that. Okay. Yeah. Big Daddy Marcel. Sorry. That guy's going to have to do a lot to piss me off.
Yeah.
He just spun gold in the transfer window. So, yeah. It could be we only bring in one or two players.
Yeah.
But they're going to be one or two players that make us better. So, I still don't think we're going to full pay out for Gomez in January. I think if we get him on a permanent, it'll be in the summer. Just because we already got him on loan. But anyway, all right, gentlemen. That is our hey. Sorry, podcasters. Edward just put Andre back in frame. So that's it for our Newcastle match reaction. Yeah, barcodes. Tough to break through last night. It happens. All right. If you're digging the videos, please subscribe to the Toffee Blues YouTube channel. We are slowly approaching the 1,400 mark on subs. Chugging toward it. So thanks. We appreciate that. If you just decide you just can't live without more Edward, he's got a YouTube channel too, Jam E. James. Details are down there somewhere in the details. So check that out. Also, Max is everywhere, man. He's on pods. He writes analysis. Check his Twitter for where he's going to show up next. And he always has analysis on the Toffee Blues website. So we're going to move on to the Watford preview because that's the next one, and that's what we do. So, goodbye for now. We'll see you in a few. Bye.